Hello everybody, Matthew Armstrong here on day 57 of our 90-day transformation program from mediocrity to mastery. It's a great pleasure to be speaking with you again today. And today we're going to discover, where do your emotions come from? Where do they come from? You know, it kind of blows my mind when I think about school. I think about all the garbage that I have to go through, and most people have to go through going to school. And the important stuff, I'm reading through this book, and the important stuff that I'm getting about life, and it's like, none of this is taught in school. None of it's taught in school, right? You know, if you're sitting in class and you say, sir, where do emotions come from? Don't be so ask such stupid questions. Get on with your work. And your work is like, you know, copying something out of a book and then to answer questions on it later on that will never ever matter and you'll never ever remember because it just has no correlation with your life whatsoever, right? You know, and so, you know, that's the way I see it. You know, the teachers, if you ask the teacher, where do emotions come from? They'll be stumped. They'll have no idea. And you say, well, how do I ask the question? How do I balance my emotions? You know, one of the most important thing that we can do ever in life is learn how to balance our emotions. And if you ask pretty much any teacher in school, how do I balance my emotions? The stuff that kids need to learn about. No teacher's going to know how the child balances their emotions. Virtually no one anyway. Right? Unless they've learned it outside of school by watching these YouTube videos or something, you know? So, you know, these questions, you know, there's no answer for them, right, from teachers. It's not something that's taught in school. The most fundamentally important things that we need to know in life, we're not taught. And you can go out and ask 100 people on the street, where do emotions come from? How do we balance our emotions? They kind of look at you as if you've got, like, you know, 3 heads or an eye in the top of your head, like that, you know, like a cyclops or something. You know, it's just not taught. People just don't know. People are just going through life, bouncing from one thing to the other. Oh, this is good. That's bad. You know, ask them what are your values? What are they? Well, what's important to you? You know, people have to think about it, right? You know, people don't know who they are. Most people don't know who they are. They don't know how they're operating. They're just operating. They're just kind of going on automatic, like robotic. All these programs are getting put in, and it's going about like robots, right? Oh, this thing happens. Oh, I perceive that as being bad, so then I react like this. You know, oh, there's something over there. That's something that's good happens, then I react like this, right? But why are you reacting like that? Oh, well, it's because of the programs that were installed at different stages growing up. And those programs could be traumatic events. You know, that's a program, right? Those programs could be a belief that was installed in religious studies, or a belief that was installed by the parents. Oh, if you do this, you're a good girl. If you do that, you're a bad girl. You know, and then something happens. Oh, I must be a good girl. I must be a bad girl, right? It's like this. It's like humans are like robots, really. You know, but you can break out of that, and you can actually take control of it, and you can empower your life. You know, it's like when the computer suddenly realizes, oh, actually, I've got control of this. I don't need the person putting in the programs. I can actually create my own programs, right? You know, like Smith out of the Matrix, when he starts to, he becomes self-realized in the Matrix, you know, and Neo becomes self-realized as well. So, you know, this is where we've come to now in these teachings, where we're learning how to where our emotions come from, how to balance them. Some very, very powerful concepts and teachings here that will can absolutely revolutionize our lives at a very, very high level. So let's continue with the reading. Page 346, we're reading from The Values Factor by Dr. John Demartini. You can go to drdemartini.com and purchase your book there. On page 346, where do emotions come from? As we've seen, your perceptions of the world are filtered through your hierarchy of values. A mother whose highest value is her children will walk through a mall and see children's clothing store everywhere, kiosks and other children's books, and perhaps a children's play area. An entrepreneur whose highest value is business and profit sees occupancy rates, rental rates per square foot, foot traffic, and maintenance costs. By the way, if this is the first video you're watching, after you watch this, make sure you go back and watch them all. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to keep up with that for actually what's going on. And you won't get your transformation unless you go through each of these videos sequentially. These are value-based perceptions, in turn generate your feelings. If the mother sees important items she can purchase for her children, she may feel fulfillment or satisfaction. If she sees food being sold that she believes won't be nutritious for her children, she may feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry. If the entrepreneur believes the mall would be a good investment and he has no part in it, he may feel envy of the current investors or excitement about potentially becoming one of them. If the entrepreneur owns a part of the mall, his emotions may be positive or negative depending on his perception of how profitable his investment is. These are examples of partial feelings, types of imbalanced emotion that can often generate symptoms of illness. These imbalanced emotions result from an imbalanced perspective. If you feel happy when something seems good to you, then you're likely to feel sad when something seems bad to you. If you feel pleased when events appear to go your way, you are likely to feel angry when events appear to go against you. Instead of perceiving the positive in every apparent negative and the negative in every apparent positive, instead of perceiving every trait and event as neither good nor bad, but simply what it is. An imbalanced perspective leads you to label and judge traits and events as good or bad. Then you feel the emotions that fit those judgments, which will be, by definition, partial, imbalanced, emotional feelings. By contrast, whole and balanced feelings flow from a perspective that views the world as neutral, with every trait or event simultaneously, including both so-called positives and so-called negatives. And what are these whole and balanced feelings? They are the four cardinal feelings of gratitude, love, inspiration, and enthusiasm. These whole integrated feelings bring about wellness. Thus, wellness results from the wholehearted embrace of every event that befalls you. Instead of getting caught up in a feeling happy when something seems good to you or feeling sad when something seems bad, you unconditionally embrace all that happens. Your heart is naturally filled with gratitude, love, inspiration, and enthusiasm, and your body becomes balanced and well. In the Breakthrough Experience, I've helped tens of thousands of attendees realize the extraordinary effects of balance. They see that when they ask themselves specific questions that reveal both sides of an event simultaneously, and when they're able to recognize the ever-present complementary opposites, like the two poles of a magnet, they spontaneously experience a deep sense of gratitude and a feeling of love in their hearts for the inherent balance and order that underlies every event. Once we stop judging the world and simply embrace it as it is, love and gratitude flow into our hearts and we feel inspired and enthusiastic. This is the condition in which our body is most able to achieve wellness. I have therefore redefined true gratitude and love as a synthesis of complementary opposites experienced simultaneously. This is a very different paradigm for love than the one held by most people. What most people call love is merely the one-sided emotional feeling of passionate attraction, which I call infatuation. This response results whenever someone perceives more support than challenge to their highest values, which makes them vulnerable to the powerful effects of dopamine and oxytocin, to which they soon become addicted. By definition, infatuation sees only the good and ignores the bad. It results in a fantasy that gives rise to its corresponding nightmare. True love, however, embraces both sides of the equation simultaneously. True love looks at a person and recognizes that every strength is also a weakness, every virtue is also a flaw, every positive is also a negative. The charming man who makes you laugh is a bit of a performer who is always seeking an audience. That outgoing woman who is so generous and kind is something of a martyr who sometimes seems to control others through her goodness. That self-confident entrepreneur is also arrogant. That humble worker is also passive. The child whom you adore also drains your energy. The friend you cherish asks you for help at inconvenient times. If your vision of these people and their traits is whole and complete, your heart will well up in love and gratitude for the fullness of all that they are as you embrace them unconditionally. You will feel grateful to your child as you are changing her diapers. You will feel grateful to your friend as you are driving him to the airport on a cold, rainy night that you had planned to spend at home by the fire with your spouse. True gratitude and true love occur when you have a perfectly balanced state of mind, able to embrace pain and pleasure equally. This state of balance will open your heart. If your vision is based on a one-sided fantasy, you will be happy when a person seems to support your highest values and sad or angry when the person seems to challenge your highest values. Love and gratitude are feelings that bring wellness. One-sided feelings, by contrast, frequently cause your body to create symptoms and illness. These partial emotions cover up the truth of the ever-present balanced state of love residing deep within. But the moment you become aware of the balance of both sides and see the whole, you become grateful and spontaneously open your heart to feel this deep love. These one-sided partial feelings occur because you put on the mask of happiness when you perceive more support than challenge, or because you put on the mask of sadness when you perceive more challenge than support. When you experience these polarized emotions, you tend to want to cover your face because you know unconsciously that they are distorting signs of incomplete awareness, only part of the whole truth. By contrast, you tend not to feel guilty or ashamed for experiencing gratitude, love, inspiration, and enthusiasm, because then you are authentic. You are seeing whole, and you know you are graced because you are honoring the balanced intelligence that governs all life in the world as it is, rather than imposing the evaluations made by your limited awareness. Your intuition is always trying to take you from your polarized, incomplete emotions back to the feelings of wholeness, gratitude, and love. This process is accomplished as your intuition prompts questions in your mind to awaken your awareness of the other side of the equation. Your intuition pushes you to question the one-sided infatuation you have developed, and it also pushes you to reconsider your one-sided dislikes. Your intuition and your body understand that incomplete emotions are signs. They reveal that you're being blind to the whole picture, that you're inaccurately perceiving more support than challenge and feeling happy as a result, or more challenge than support and feeling angry or sad as a result. Your intuition continually prompts you to return to balanced, loving awareness of the whole. Your physiology, your symptoms, and your illness are also trying to bring you back from polarized emotions to the grace and wholeness of love. That is why polarized emotions frequently create symptoms and illness, while the balanced feelings of gratitude and love are the greatest healers, bringing us back to the state of wellness. Positively polarized emotions are also a type of addiction. During certain types of experiences perceived as supportive, your brain releases dopamine, which, as we have seen, gives you the sensation of thrills and intense pleasure. For example, dopamine is released when you take cocaine, when you ride a roller coaster, and when you first become infatuated with a person. And with anything you can become infatuated with, you can also fear the loss of. So when you feel an intense emotion of grief or sorrow over the loss of something you are attached to, it is because you are somewhat dopamine addicted to that thing, and because you are infatuated with it, for you only feel the loss of that which you are infatuated with. You never feel the loss of that which you resent or things that you perceive to challenge your highest values. You celebrate that loss with relief, not grief. That is why you only experience remorse, bereavement, sorrow, or grief when you perceive that you have lost something with which you were infatuated or to which you were partly or wholly dopamine addicted. Those partial emotions are actually dopamine withdrawal symptoms. But as the man whose daughter died discovered, nothing in the world is ever truly lost. Just as energy and matter are continually changing their forms, so is every aspect of our lives, continually changing relationships, families, careers, enterprises, and even ourselves. The master is the one who embraces the world of transformation, knowing how to see the new form and honouring the laws of conservation and balance. The master embraces the laws that, on the one hand, caused my student's daughter to die, and on the other hand, immediately brought into his life other aspects of children and childlikeness to balance what he had apparently lost and to conserve the qualities that he valued. As my student discovered, life holds no wholly positive experiences and no wholly negative ones. The laws of nature insist on an inseparable connection between the two. There were negative aspects to the time when his daughter was alive, and there were positive aspects to the time after her death. The laws of nature ensure that over time and through space, your pain and pleasure, your ease and difficulties, your overall amount of positive or negative will remain balanced. If you live in a fantasy that you will receive only support for your highest values, or that life will bring you only positivity, the complementary negativity will simultaneously emerge to help you crack that fantasy. When you understand these universal laws, you can neutralize your fantasy. Instead of trying to obtain the unobtainable or avoid the unavoidable, you can set real goals in real time according to your highest values in a real world with a true balance. When you have set clear goals that you are certain are congruent with your highest values, your perception will become more balanced and less limited. No matter what happens, you will then demonstrate a higher probability of experiencing tears of inspiration and gratitude, because you will know that you are living with wholeness and with a balanced perspective. You will know that you are ultimately living your destiny. This is why the values factor is so important, because the key to experiencing inspiration and gratitude is to know your highest values and then set goals in line with those values, while also knowing the laws of nature and setting realistic expectations. As Carl Sagan so beautifully emphasized, the magnificence of the universe, the way it is far greater than any fantasies we may keep imposing on it. And that will do us for today for our reading. Mind-altering stuff, right? It's mind-altering. Just to read that, I find it mind-altering. My views and beliefs are just shifting. My worldviews are shifting as I'm reading, like tectonic plates on the earth. I had a dream about earthquakes last night, so that's why that came in. So with this information, with this philosophy, with this understanding, these teachings, just to read it once, just to hear it once is really not enough. You need to go over this over and over again, and that's the commitment I made when I first read this book. Was at the beginning of this year. I said, okay, this is something worth mastering. If I'm going to master the information in one book, it's going to be this book. And I actually chose three books that I'm mastering the information from and soaking it all up. And this is one of them. And I said, if I just read 7 pages every day of this book, and once I complete it, go back to the beginning and start again, just keep reading 7. That means I can read this book every 60 days. I will have gone through this book every 60 days. If I read and just do some exercises on it, after a year, I will have read this book 6 times after a year. This is my third time now this year so far, because I didn't stick to the 7 a day, but I have been now, and so this is the 3rd time reading it this year, or 4th maybe. I'm not too sure now. By doing that, it doesn't take long. To read 7 pages a day, 6 pages a day, whatever it is, it only takes like 10 minutes, right? And then just to study a bit and write a few sentences on what you read. 10 minutes a day. And after a year, you've gone through this book and you've got something inside of you then, which is just incredible, absolutely incredible. So that's my recommendation for you. That's what I'm doing anyway. That's my challenge to you, to do that and to really get it at a whole different level. You want to get to Dr. Demartini's event. There's one happening as of now in just over 2 weeks' time in London. So there's a link below this video that I'll put in. If you want to have a look at that, then click on the link and you can go and have a look at that event. And that's where the biggest breakthroughs actually happen. Okay, thanks for watching, and there's some links below here if you want to subscribe, if you want to go to the event, click on the links. If you want to join my movement to create financial freedom online, click on the link below. There's a link for that as well. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow again. Tomorrow is Friday, yes. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, ciao.